Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH. Plus we're doing a daily run, of course, as we've been doing every day, waiting for the achievement to be done, and maybe longer, but I don't know. It's an Eve run. I always check the seed. Not my finest moment, but dude, right off the bat, this is a... Wait a minute, something's not right. Do you usually... Stay away from me, please. Do you usually start with 1.23 speed on an Eve run? I'm past the point where that's nerdy to suggest that maybe something like feels different, and because I've played so much Isaac, I'm like, oh, well, something just doesn't feel right. I must have played too much of this game. Now I'm just like embarrassed. I'm like, I should know the exact starting speed of every character in every hexadecimal permutation of alphanumeric 8-digit seed. But anyway, maybe she does start a little bit speedy. Can't say for certain one way or the other. What I can say for certain is all we need to really start, and it's a Mega Satan run, which is, you know, defined by me, but also, you know, we got to take a long tail approach to things. But really, I like a run where it's basically just boils down to play the run. Anytime you throw in a little dice roll, like, hey, you're going to get a self-sacrifice room on the womb 2, or, oh, you took the one on the womb 2, I took the one on the, you know, the shoal, and as a result, I get 13,000 extra points. You know, for really high-skill, mistake-free players like myself, it's just infuriating. I dare not say resinous. But when we're talking, like, you know, maybe one of the top 1 players in the world, miss me with that. NL, are you forgetting that you lost the daily recently? Who are you talking to? I don't lose dailies. Dailies lose their opportunities to have me win. I don't know where this bit is going. All I know is that this guy is going into the fire, please. Thank you. And if I could just... If only there were some fires on the Champion Ragman fight. Now, you probably should not belabor the point, but simultaneously, still, the bitterness lingers on my tongue, despite it being a few days ago. This is a hugely important floor. Basically, we're waiting on a single... Ooh, that was close. A single good tinted rock. And that pretty much determines whether or not we're going to have, like, the conventional chance. Oh, be cool. Hey, slow it down there, spider buddy. Nobody needs to get hurt except... I mean, from your perspective, I can understand why you'd want to do something rash. I mean, we are slowly, you know, twisting the vice until you're going to be deceased. But hey, now, the human reaction time is not capable of dealing with the immense speeds you're putting out there. So this is a secret room in all likelihood. We could use our bomb there, but I really want to save up for a tinted rock. If we can find one. If we can't, we could always use our key to go to the shop. And then... Oh, be careful. Ideally... That's not going to help too much. Ideally, get a spirit heart in there. I don't know. Are we going to have to go to the big room? As of right now, it doesn't look like a necessity. I'm going to try this. Basically, I don't care about going to the big room. I just want to make sure we're actually able to get to the boss fight first. And then we can get into all sorts of rich anecdotes. Once we pick up, you know, Empty Vessel or something along those lines, the Pact, something with a little bit of Spirit Art protection, or 9 lives for survivability, many viable options here. It's merely for right now that I don't want to, you know, rock the boat too much if possible. There is a Spirit Heart, and I will purchase it. All right. In keeping with that, I will definitely, even though it's, you know, probably riskier than some people would have a tolerance for. And immediately, there's a tinted rock, but we're going to be able to get it no matter what. So, All is forgiven, and I am modestly vindicated. What I'm getting at is, oh, the big room was not that bad at all. I can now use the razor, is what I'm trying to hint at. I don't know. Bomb bag is actually okay. In particular, now that we have a tinted rock over here, I think we'll take bomb bag, but I'm not like 10 out of 10 interested in it. I'm just waiting to see. You know, let's not wait and see. Let's give ourselves like an appropriate level of damage where we start to feel excited about the run. Pheromones gives us a little bit of money. And we got an okay foundation. With 2 spirit hearts, the thing is, 2 spirit hearts lasts a lot longer. You know, you might be a little afraid about going, you know, with a relatively low amount of HP, going down and being like, you know, willfully putting yourself in that Whore of Babylon state, but the better your HP, or the better your damage is, the longer your HP is gonna last. So it's like having $100 in your wallet and then being like, I don't want to buy that thing that's gonna cost me $20, even if it's gonna save me $500. You know, we got to think about the way that the rates change over time here. Now, this is like, I don't know if this is the exact correct order, but it is a correct order. And as of right now, we should be basically, a loss should be impossible to fathom. And in fact, I mean, we shouldn't even like, it's a little reckless to suggest, but we shouldn't even be getting hit. At least for a little while. Now that, you almost made me look like a dang fool. 1 penny. Alright, let's extinguish the fires. I'm gonna level with you, just in case. We're way ahead of schedule, or we have the potentiality to be way ahead of schedule, but I don't really wanna test that. Let's just keep moving it on. Alright. Forgive me my conversational false starts and guffaws. It's my first video in a couple of, well, I mean, technically it is my first video in a couple of days. It's just that, you know, the last one was Friday night, and now it's Sunday morning. So it's really been like 1 day. The prototypical day off. What did I do on my day off? Well, thank you for asking. I went out for brunch with some friends. We played a board game known as Garden Dice. This is a curse of the you screwed me, is what it is. We played a board game called Garden Dice that was, you know... Here's the thing, we went to one of those newfangled board game cafes. There's just a lot of options, right? And you know, you never know how long you're gonna be there. How long you're gonna be there, yeah, I'll do it, but it's a little dangerous, is basically determined by the board game that you play, but you don't know how long you want to be there in the first place necessarily. So, you know, one of the friends that I was with pulled out a bunch of board games, and I was like, you know what, why don't we start with this game? It's called Garden Dice. It's got bright colors. We should open this. And it, you know, it's got dice in the name, and I've learned from, you know, playing more board games over the past few years, anytime a game has like one mechanic that's easy to understand, that's kind of where I want to start. You know, a lot of board games, we don't see it in video games because the complexity is handled digitally, right? It's, you know, things might be complicated in the game, but because they're handled behind the scenes by, you know, what essentially amounts to like a manager of the game, you don't really see it. Like, I haven't played Four Souls yet, so I can't really relate it to Isaac, but even in something like Slay the Spire, you know, you could abstract that to be a physical board game for sure, but what would be involved? Well, you know, you'd have to create a deck of enemies, and then you'd have to lay out the actual path in front of you, and then you'd have to, choose from the reward deck in order to determine what your choices of reward are, unless you have this relic, and then this relic means you pull one extra card from the reward deck. Shuffle in the rare deck if you pick up Inloth's gift, you know? It just, you know, that stuff is handled behind the scenes, which is very nice, quite honestly. I am going to go to the curse room. I have kind of like a snapshot in my head of how this floor looks, and it's being thrown for a loop based on the constant curse of the question marks. But anyway, so anytime a game, you know, gives the opportunity to be like, at one point, you know you're going to be rolling dice. I'm like, let's play that game. And then it turns out it was like the same thing all over again. It was during the you roll 4 dice, then use any permutation of the 4 dice to enter the harvest phase. And I'm being a little bit reductive, but let's go. That's still pretty good. So that was cool. And then I came home and I watched the Vancouver Canucks game while I was working. You might have heard me talking incessantly about I've been working on this Jeopardy scorekeeper. Well, I was hit by some inspiration last week when I published the scorekeeper. Someone was like, hey, the next step is to, you know, make it pull from a database of Jeopardy questions so that you could pretty much endlessly have a Jeopardy board that you could train off of. Now, I want to make it clear, you know, I'm not trying to Michael Larson myself into making $1 million on Jeopardy. You know, it's just kind of like, when you have moments, as nerdy as it is, when you have moments of inspiration and passion, my modest advice is you capitalize on it. If you're really inspired to do something, you know, don't try to reason with yourself and be like, here's all the reasons that this thing that for some reason I'm inexplicably disproportionately interested in is dumb and I shouldn't do it. Instead, just roll with it, because inspiration is kind of a rare thing to begin with. So I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. It's in some ways practical, but I don't know. That seems like a pretty major thing to do. And then I was like, I started searching around, and somebody had made a database of Jeopardy questions with an API that connects to it. So I was like, well, I thought that was going to work. I was like, if all I've got to do is you know, consume the API, I can make that happen. So I got that working, and there's definitely some issues. I do want to point out, it's out on GitHub, if you're interested. I tweeted about it, so you can just find the tweet and go to the GitHub releases there. Basically, it's an endless Jeopardy board. So you know, you're out of Jeopardy episodes, or you know, for whatever reason you'd rather play faster than the game actually allows. If you're watching on TV, go check it out. You know, there's like hundreds of thousands of non-repeating Jeopardy questions. It keeps track of your score. The questions are they're laid out on the board in the way that they should be laid out on the board. You know, in ascending value. The one thing I will say, it makes no distinction about the difficulty of questions between Double Jeopardy and Single Jeopardy. Admittedly, I have no idea if Double Jeopardy questions tend to be harder or if they just tend to be worth double. So I'm not going to worry too much about that yet. There's other things, there's issues involved, but like 85% of the time it works totally fine. It's probably more like 98% of the time, but you know, I got tweeted the issues, which is fair. The issues, by the way, are largely, I don't want to throw jservice.io under the bus, because it's on the shoulders of giants I was able to make this in the first place, but the service basically just runs Jeopardy episodes, I think, through like an image processing application or algorithm, and it captures the text and then the answer and the value and the category name. But sometimes you end up, you know, in the database there will just be like a blank clue with an answer, and usually that means that there's like, it's a video clue or something like that. Obviously, you know, it doesn't really port into my ramshackle application very well. Regardless, that's what I did on my weekend. Aren't you? Now you regret asking, probably. No, but it's cool. It was, you know, anytime you can find a project you're passionate about, even if it's silly, and this is what I've been saying about Putinir, and people take me out of context. Not everybody, but I feel like people who don't understand take me out of context. You know, I've told Malf I think Putinir is I still, to this day, I think it's a very bad idea if your goal is to make money off of it. I see no economic future for a Google Maps slice that specifically allows you to look for one specific type of food. However, if that's what he's passionate about and he can use that as fuel to A, get the project done, and B, you know, learn a lot in the process about how to do stuff like this in the future, then it's an insanely good, it's a productive thing to be working on. But then people just, I don't know, maybe I'm missing like I don't think I am, but I'm being Twitch gaslighted into thinking I'm missing like an emotional part of my brain where if I was actually a good friend, what I would do is lie to him and be like, yeah, dude, that'll probably make like $1 billion. You should definitely do it. Instead, I'm like, the idea sucks, but you should do it because the work itself is intrinsically valuable. And people go, why are you such a d-hole about it? Why are you such a bad friend? I don't see it that way. And I hope Malf doesn't either, you know? Like, if I came to Malf and I was like, Malf, I got a great idea. It's like a website for one specific video game that tracks your achievements. And it gives you tips for it and walkthroughs for it as well. I would be like, I would hope that he would be like, you know, there's 80 other websites on the internet that do this. If you really want to do it, I support it because you're going to learn a lot in the process. But you should just temper your expectations that this specific idea is probably not going to make you, like, you know, any money. Ace of Hearts is not what we're looking for here. We're, you know what? I'm thinking we're actually way behind schedule here. 15 minutes going down to... Excuse me! Thank you! 15 minutes going down to the depths 1. We're going to need to... I mean, we're a minute and a half behind schedule, but we are also doing good damage. We took too long exploring there. But it's not too long if we still end up making boss rush, you know? Anyway, that's what I did on the weekend. Feel free to check it out or don't. It doesn't really, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter to me because that isn't the message I'm trying to get across, but, you know, only check it out if you're interested in what it's got going on. You don't have to be a Jeopardy super fan. It's basically just like an endless trivia game that looks like it was made in 1995 because I used tools developed in 1995 to make it. Now, I believe that pill is the actual question mark pill, so I don't want to take advantage of that at all. I will fight the boss, and then we'll see what we want to do from there. Keep Ace of Hearts for now. Oh, blow this up. That last floor, by the way, I didn't talk about it at all because I was, like, fully distracted. Talking about myself instead, my favorite topic. But that last floor was a little difficult, you know, especially the boss trap room with all the champions in it. Hey, could you not, like, just summon minions over and over? That's all you do on this fight, apparently? Wow. Well, at least we got the, heart out of it, and we can use, Razor Blade to try something like this now. It's a secret room. I'm not willing to look too long here. 99 bombs. You should definitely toss one of these up there. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, I should leave is what I'm getting at. Even though we're missing the shop in the item room, I think in order to make boss rush, that's most applicable. So here's what I want out of this run. And it's a little bit, unorthodox might not be the right word, but it's a little bit unusual for a run like this. But what I want is, to be able to generate red hearts. Yo, that's probably what we want right there. To be able to generate red hearts so that we can use the Razor Blade to gain damage, get to the Whore of Babylon state, but also trigger a theme, and then use that to build up a bunch of demon hearts that we can use for, you know, long-term success. You get the idea, I think. And with 99 bombs, Lucky Rock, there's all sorts of future potential for points. We just have to be very careful about the way that we approach it. So straight up, check this. Let's see if this works. It won't right off the bat. I was trying to get 1 HP so that I could get a theme to pop. There we go. So we grab Can't get the HP, that's alright. Damage is still good. It's just frustrating because I'm trying to build the demon hearts off of a theme to let us do boss rush. And times are getting a little tight. It's okay. I think, play our cards right, we should still be able, let's see if we can get an Emperor card. Just it's worth 3 seconds, I think, to take a look. Alright. We got 1 minute and 45 seconds, roughly. We gotta play it a little tight, because we can't afford to... There's more. We can't afford to... Razor Blade if we're not getting a payout from a theme. If we're losing Spirit Hearts in the process, at least. So this is a very, very welcome teleportation from my world. From my perspective. Okay, we got a Demon Heart out of a theme on that one. You know what? I'm gonna go a little deeper again. Just to speed it up a little bit. You know, you only get one chance to make it to boss rush. I want to make sure that we got every available opportunity. And this is a daily, you know? I actually think that a lot of people are going to fall behind on today's daily as a result of the fact that it turned out to be fairly difficult to get where you needed to go. So I think we should be surprisingly happy about the way that things look right now. And it's still going to be really, really tight. Keep in mind, we got a guaranteed deal with the devil. We've already fought Krampus, so the deal with the devil is just profit. Please? Please? I didn't want to. I felt like I had to. Okay, we're not going to take it. Even though we want Whore of Babylon, we can use the Razor Blade to kind of augment things here. So, we're going to grab Iron Bar. We want as many red hearts to drop as possible. But I'll level with you. I am also going to take chances on this run. When we fight enemies that summon multiple enemies, because this is, like, I don't want to make you feel like this run's that screwed right now, but this run is kind of, it's weak. Even with 8.69 damage, I think it's relatively close to like a pseudo-garbage territory. At least for boss rush specific purposes here. Keep in mind, you can also fight Hush on today's run. So we probably have chosen boss rush over Hush. Unless we get something truly incredible. Because, I mean, you can see for yourself, this is not a quick pace. Okay, so when you fight an enemy like Dingle, and you know the dude is going to summon a bunch of minions, that's a good opportunity to use the Razor Blade. Blast Assist also might fit the bill, but I'm not willing to take a stab at it. That was so dumb. Even as I was standing there, I was like, this is the worst place to stand. So, again, very, very risky and actually did not work out at all. I would love to say that it did. But in my head, I was like, we can use a theme to kill the Hollow, and we'll get a great chance at bonuses. But we can't use a theme to kill the Hollow, because the Demon Hearts just killed the Hollow instead. Oh, you... Dude, we're in a lot of trouble. What do we do? Well, one of the earlier steps, I think, just slowing down, recognizing, you know, we probably invested a little too heavily in this idea of using a theme, an item that has not always been disappointing, but has often been very disappointing. Even with 2 luck. That's what... I'm always seduced by the luck stat. It's like, hey, there's a random chance that this highly varied style of gameplay will work for you. You want to do it? And I'm like, you said random chance. Say no more. I was in as soon as I heard there was variance involved. If anything, I want, like, red hearts to show up. Using red hearts with the razor blade seems fine. Using spirit hearts, even with the theme, is where the seductive, the temptress has revealed her ugly ways. Instead, the only consumable we ever get is bombs. I don't know, which one of these enemies would we rather leave alive? They're both beam-based enemies. Well, the Fallen made a very good case by completely killing the other enemy, so thank you for that. It's a troll bomb. Is that war? No, hold up. Actually, I think it is war, right? Yeah. I don't know what I got hit by, which is surprisingly common, but... Hello? War? Mr. War? Drop a single red heart. I dare you. It's the adversary. We have to get over there. And the adversary, you don't really want to do it. The best way to fight the adversary, you gotta stay... The fear shot actually frightens me a great deal, but you gotta stay in tight. It's a lot easier to dodge the curved laser when you're right next to them. So I think we've made mistakes on this run. If we make it out of boss rush and manage to build a lucky me, manage to build a supply of HP, thank you. Manage to build a supply of HP that, you know, you can rely on for a while. I think the fact that the waters are treacherous. Well, wait, you know, let's put it this way. You know the adage, you know, calm waters don't make strong sailors? The corollary there is like, you know, choppy waters benefit... Oh. Well, nothing coming out of that. Choppy waters benefit strong... Did I... Yeah, sailors. I was gonna say swimmers. But all... I mean, it might be true. I mean, it's all aquatic based. Don't at me. Oh, good. A golden bomb. I was worried that we only had 97 bombs. Now, the true curse of this, by the way, is that this would have been the perfect Athame opportunity. I am very surprised as well that this is, who's our other boss? Oh, it's a burrower. We gotta be careful. I'm very afraid. Oh my god, okay. There he is. It's okay, because now we got tabs on him. Okay, we lived at least to finish boss rush. Dude, I'm only gonna say this because I'm mad right now, but like, why on earth? Thank you. That's exactly what I was gonna get at, basically. I was gonna say, how hard is it to get a single HP drop when you fight 10 waves of bosses? Like, I'm not trying to make it a thing. I'm not trying to suggest I was unfairly treated during boss rush, because just the fact that we made it there feels good. Okay, yeah, I mean, they're legitimate health upgrades, but need some HP in the process. I have to think that either it was random chance, just not working out very well for us to not get like a single HP drop over the entire course of that boss rush, which is something I was kind of relying on. Or, alternatively, because of the fact that we already have the bomb bag, anytime there was a consumable, the game did like a check. And was like, are we dropping a consumable? Okay, if so, it's a bomb. Now, I don't know why that would make sense, but, you know, at some point when you see evidence of something that seems unlikely, you kind of go to these twin hypotheses, right? Of variance and also error. Now, the error is probably more likely to be on my end, but either way, we can take a deep breath. I was very convinced we were dead. So, this feels like I'm like living a life on time that I didn't pay for. By the way, again, it's happening with, I should say happening with increasing regularity. But I keep getting hit by things I don't see. I realize now it's probably that when they hit me, they die instantly. But man, that is infuriating. There hasn't been a patch for the game, so I just have to accept, you know, what's more likely? I've undergone some macular degeneration recently. You know, I don't have to be on this room. You know, life's short. We can bomb our way out of the other side as well. So I have an idea now. We actually have our first red heart in like 10 years. What's my game plan? Well, I'm not going to do anything with it yet, but my intention is to use the razor blade to get a theme damage done, and we used it immediately because, you know, it's the kind of guy I am. I have to believe that one of these days a theme is going to pay out. Am I losing it, by the way? Did we get Goathead? It feels like it was like hours ago that we were given the choice. Okay, it's Brimstone and we win. Did we get Goathead? Yeah, that's the Goathead for sure. 41 cents. Moving on. Now we're in an amazing position, thanks to the Brimstone pickup. And again, anyone that made it to this point, you know, congratulations to us, basically. Like, this was not an easy run. There are ways we could leverage our points a little bit. Like, we should probably get to 99 cents, maybe more, by placing bombs. Although, actually, now that I think about it, because of bombs are key, I'm low on bombs. Very rich on keys, but... Anyway, that's how I spent my Saturday. It's not how I spent my weekend, because I don't know how Sunday's gonna go yet, okay? I don't really have big plans right now. I also played some Smash. My whole, like, Game of the Year list has been thrown in a tizzy. Because who would have thought November, December, the most, you know, heavily promoted months of the year from a gaming perspective, who would have thought that they would also have so many games that apparently turned out to be really good? Hitman 2, I mean, I expected to like that a lot, but I didn't expect it to like it as much as I have liked it. I think that game is criminally overlooked. I'll even go so far. I rarely want to like blame the consumer, but whenever I hear people talk about why they don't want to get Hitman 2, I'm always like, there are valid criticisms. Like, some people say it's more fun to watch than it is to play. I take that as the greatest compliment you could ever give me. However, some people are like, it's too short. There's only, I watched a streamer beat it, and it only took like 3 hours to beat all the levels. Yeah, well, that's not really what it's meant for, you know? It's not quite a roguelite, but you can't, you know, it's kind of like saying, well, I beat Slay the Spire with all the characters, and... you know, that only took me 8 hours. The game's too short. You know, it's not really meant to be just played through the one time is the thing. And then Smash as well. I'm here for the Nintendo Renaissance. not a perfect company. But I refuse to eat it at both ends. You know, for years, I was one of the voices of Nintendo criticism. Various podcasts, my own show, etc., etc. They had what I thought is a blatant, but legally probably precedent-supported dislike of content creators. Take me down. And as a result, whenever they made mistakes, it was... And I never, like, you know, I didn't have an anti-Nintendo agenda. But particularly back in the Wii U era, and I say this as somebody who bought a Wii U at launch, it was an easy time to kind of poke fun at Nintendo. You know? As a console, one of the launch titles was Zombie U. I played it at launch and was like, it's kind of interesting and a good sign of things to come. You know, maybe... building on this scaffolding, future games can do something cool with this tablet technology that the Wii U controller offers. Little did we know that at the end of the Wii U's lifespan, Zombie U would be looked at as one of the better games that released on the platform. And that's, I think, all you need to say about that. Regardless. By the way, is there a better time capsule of a game that, you know, is indicative of coming out in the early 2010s than a zombie game where the gimmick is a tablet controller? Times have changed a little bit. Now it's free-to-play battle royales. Back then it was zombie games. And dude, it was for a long time, too. Anyway, grab this. But now, dude, I'm here. I started, when the Switch came out, I started changing my tune. I haven't played Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey yet, but I think Mario Kart 8 is one of the most purely joyful games I've ever played in my entire life. I do own it on Wii U as well. Is the Switch version better? I don't know, but my Wii U exists as a derelict Netflix surrogate right now, so... What I said, by the way, or what I meant, I should say, when I said I refuse to eat it at both ends, is because, you know, whenever we would talk about anything vaguely Nintendo negative, we would always get people that are like, leave Nintendo alone! They're just a struggling multi-billion-dollar company, and all of their decisions that make no sense to you are just because the Japanese audience has different preferences, so it would be racially insensitive to criticize them for doing things like requiring a secondarily proprietary voice chat app to be downloaded on your smartphone to use voice over IP while playing Splatoon. Literally, I'm being a little bit exaggeratory, but, you know, you can ask any of the guys on the show. We got stuff similar to that. Then, you know, on a show this week, Robert and I were playing Mario Kart 8 on Wednesday, and we were like, hey, this game's really good. And then people were like, how much is Nintendo paying you to say that? I can't, adults playing a children's video game. Yo, bro, they're all children's video games. I'm sorry to tell you. You can't be the 30-year-old dude that's going, well, anybody that plays Smash as a full-grown adult has lost my respect. Because if another 30-year-old heard you saying that, they'd be like, bro, you play iRacing. You spend 12 hours per weekend in simulated Formula 2 races on Laguna Seca while I'm at the father-son picnic. You know, we gotta have a little bit of awareness with one another, you know, not judge each other for our hobbies so harshly. The only people I judge on Twitch are the people who stream themselves playing digital casinos for hours at a time. And even then, it's not even judgment. It's more just like, is everything okay? Regardless. I refuse to be both, you know, accused of being paid off by Sony to hate on Nintendo, and simultaneously paid off by Nintendo. I told this story before, but Nintendo, they declined to let me demo Breath of the Wild at E3. And even just saying that they're aware of me makes it sound like I'm being braggadocious, and that's not the intention here. But I was told that they knew who I was, but they were declining to offer the demo because they felt like my content wasn't necessarily in line with the family-friendly vision that they had at Nintendo. And honestly, no hard feelings. Fair enough. That's not why I've, not played Breath of the Wild. I've not played Breath of the Wild as a result of the fact that, it seems really long. That's not a good reason either. I'm just saying. So there's no hard feelings whatsoever here. As far as I'm concerned, this is the way the business should work now. You come out with your games, we play them, and sometimes you might find yourself going, "Hey," but you gotta realize you can't police everything that's said on the internet. You can't control the message. If you try to control the message, you're gonna lose your mind. For somebody, what is it, Sakurai? Oh, I just had a terrible chill run down my spine, as if gamers everywhere were playing Smash, but also uttering the S word simultaneously. Like who cares? That's my opinion. Is who cares? If your opinion is that you care, that's fine too. If there's a good reason for it that I can't fathom but might exist. Anyway, how did the daily go? I'm still trying to figure that out. Very scary for a while. I don't think we're going to be top... I don't think we're going to be double digits. I think there's a chance we could be double digits, but I think it's more likely that we will be triple digits, but like in the hundreds, 200s, etc., etc. In my opinion, we've done really well, actually. I think a lot of people will be too slow for boss rush. If you're too slow for boss rush, you might be able to make Hush because you're going to get that brimstone, but it depends how quickly you made it down there. And apart from that, obviously we missed Hush, but just to live through boss rush, I think a lot of the people who made it to boss rush are going to die. Even if they don't throw their HP away like I did so stupidly. It's just that it was a relatively hard boss rush, I think. Once you get Brimstone to run smooth right out, it's a very, very easy Mega Satan finish here. So I think, anybody on my path, you had to be reasonably good at the game. But once you get here, you're good. It's like making it through your filter classes in college, Once you get past organic chemistry, like 80% of the people who are gonna flunk out on that class. That was the greatest use of black hole we could have imagined for this fight. Easy enough. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's a good time for video games. I meant to talk more about Smash. I think Smash is one of the very, very rare games out there. I'm not good at it. Like, I'm not even close to being, like, esports ready. I never want to play in tournaments. But I feel like a street basketball player. Because I played so much, like, inebriated Smash in college. Thousands and thousands of hours. Mostly of 64, which sadly is largely... the lessons from that are not as applicable to the modern games as I would like. But still, the philosophy's there. Like, it's a fighting game where I can go online and I can kind of hang. And that feels cool. So I've been having a great time with that. Either way, we're going to be... Look, what did I tell you? 113. I had my finger on the pulse of this run. Could have done better, but just to be alive there at the end was pretty good. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps the great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!